Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passionately Speaking. This is our weekly public speaking training call, our master class, where we talk about advanced topics about public speaking. You will never hear these topics taught anywhere else on the planet except right here. So as part of the community, I welcome you and value your input as we go through our lesson today. We're going to have about 30 minutes of class, and then we're going to open up the call for about 30 minutes of sharing, and I'll share with you what we're going to do then. So CJ is my co-pilot. If you need anything, he's there to help us out. He'll be letting people come in and out. So now, hold on just a second. I forgot my props. All right. Sorry, I was so excited having you all here. I forgot my props. All right. So today's topic is, what mask are you hiding behind? Now, as we've been in this last year, we've all been putting on our masks and going out there in the world. Some people not only put on their mask, but they put on two masks. They put on a mask over a mask. Is that true? So how do we peel away those masks? Because what happens is that happens when we speak. That happens if we're not watching. That happens when we step on stage. Why? Because we're human beings. So what happens is we want to cover up. We want to be modest. We want to hide things. We want to save things. Now, there's certain things that I'm going to talk about today that, yes, we want to hide and we want to keep covered, right? There's certain things about our bodies that maybe we just want to keep covered. But there's other things that don't need to be covered. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I am going to spell the word, two words, mask off, right? Mask off. We're going to learn how to become that speaker that takes their mask off. Sometimes it'll be okay to keep it on, but most of the time we want to take it off because that's how we're going to connect to our audience. Now, years ago, there were more masks than ever. People not only had masks, but they had big shields in front of them, like one of those soldiers. They had their whatever you call it, stick in one hand, and they had their protection cover or their shield in the other. And over the years, that has been laid down. But now we have masks on. Many people have masks on. So I want to share with you how you can take your mask off as a speaker. So we're spelling out mask off because I love what? Acronyms, right? And what's so exciting is not only using them, but teaching them to my students, and then have my students do the acronyms too. So Angelique is getting ready to do a one-day, right? She's in my mastermind program, my year-long program, and she's getting ready to do ready to do her first one day, right? And guess what she's using? Acronyms throughout her entire one day, and videos after watching what I do using the videos for the one day. So very, very good. Something that we can't do if we were just doing a one day live, right? Because you'd have to hire someone like CJ if you were going to do that live to make sure the video and everything was working right. But we can do it in here in this environment ourselves. So it's really exciting time. So taking the mask off, the M stands for your message, right? Message. Now, some people are going to be thinking this. They're going to be thinking the message is the story and the story is the message. And that's, yes, that's the same. It can be absolutely the same. When we share our message, now this isn't all about your message today, but this is about when you share that message, to get that mask off, or story, you have to be willing to share some of your own personal vulnerability. That could be vulnerability about what it is you're sharing. It could be vulnerability of how you felt by sharing it. And let me give you a word of caution on this. And some of you have heard this and some of you haven't. And it's important enough to share. When you share your message, when you share your story, you heal off stage before you bring that message on stage. On stage is not a place to do the healing. How do you know if you've healed? If you step on stage and start to speak and you're a blubbering boo-hoo baby, right, where you can't stop uncontrollably, then you're not healed yet. However, if you step on stage and you have a little few bit of tears, but you fight them back, that's noble, and that will make your audience cry in a heartbeat. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to move our audience. That's what speakers do. We move the audience, not ourselves. So when you share a message or a story or a principle, every message has a point and every point has a message. Every message has a point and every point has a message. What happens sometimes, people get into their story and they think it's true confessions, right? And this is not a confessional. Your stage is not a confessional. It's not confession time. It's to share the points of the story that's going to make a difference and move your audience, period. We don't want to share anything that is going to make the audience be uncomfortable at seeing it or hearing it. We don't want to share anything with the audience that if they continue to look at you, they see that instead of the real you. Let me give you a couple examples. So if you were a cancer survivor and you had breast cancer twice, that's one thing. You had breast cancer twice, you fought it, you got it, hooray, hooray, we can celebrate you. But if you share that you had I always say it wrong. I'm sorry, Gloria caught that one, 2 mastectomies, then we look at you a lot differently. Does that make sense? Say yes, right? We don't have to go that extra mile, that extra step. We can stop with a celebration that we survived. Same with if you were maybe put in jail. Now, if you were talking to a bunch of women who all have had that done, then that's different. I'm talking about more of our open general audiences that we're getting business from. So there's always exceptions. Another one might be if you were 16 years old and you got put in jail because you did something really stupid, right? Do you want people to look at you now, 40 years later, as a jailbird? Maybe not, unless you're talking to youths, right? You see, it has to be relevant to what it is you are doing now and what you're trying to get your audience to do. Now, I'm just going to say something a little bit about Jackie's book. For those of you that missed her book launch this last Saturday, one thing I loved about her book is, and I only got to read a couple chapters. I know it sounded like I read the whole book, didn't it? Didn't it, CJ? It sounded like I read the whole book. She only doled me a couple of chapters, but it was enough. But what I got out of that is, and partly that is where I got this message from today, Jackie, is wearing masks. Because most of all my life and all my Christian life, when I talk about it, I don't talk about the dark phase, right? I accepted Jesus when I was 5, right? And I accepted him when I was 6, and when I was 7, and when I was 8, and when I was 9. Why? Because I didn't have the faith as a little kid. I wanted to make sure, right? I kept having the priests come over, not priests, the pastors, and come to my house at 5 and do the thing because I wanted to make sure. I was involved in the Jesus movement. Anybody remember the Jesus movement that's old enough? In the 70s here in Southern California, Orange County? I was involved in that. And then when I got 18 or 19, I fell away, totally fell away, right? Now, Jackie, she gave us permission in her book. And a little later, Jackie, I'll let you put the link in. That it's okay that I'm not by myself. She went through the same thing when she turned a teenager and then college years. She partied like there's no tomorrow, like it's what? Party like it's 1964, I don't know, right? And what that did is that was taking off the mask. Jackie took off the mask, and it let me take off the mask in that particular circumstance. And that's what we need to do as speakers. But she didn't, get into nitty gritty and any bad things she did. She just said, partied a lot, right? Her and her husband, party, 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 right? So there's an extent that you can go to, but it's permission to let other people take off their own mask. And I thought, man, I thought I was the only one in the world that during my teenage years, I had a slip up and a backslide for about 20 years, right? Not that long, but it felt like it. Or maybe it was about 20 years, right? Where I thought I knew better than God. I thought I could do it. Right? And Jackie talks about that in her book. And this isn't a conversation necessarily about faith. It's a conversation about taking off your mask. And that was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. She allowed me to take off my mask. So when you're thinking of your story, when you're thinking of your message, how can you share something that is so powerful that it lets other people or gives other people permission to take off their own mask and for them to be free and honest and real and authentic? Woo! I got goosies. Wow. That takes me to the A. The A, thank you, millions. The A is for authenticity. Thank you. The A is for authenticity and being that real person that you are and letting other people see it. Now, there's going to be a degree of professionalism because we're not going to be crazy, silly idiots out there on the stage. I'm not saying that. But there's that authenticity where that's one thing I love about being older. Because I don't have that thing that a lot of that I had when I was young, right? Everybody's nodding. Yeah, it's like you either like me or you don't. When we're young, we're so afraid somebody's not going to like us. And we step on stage and we're so afraid someone's not going to like our message, right? How many of you thought of that? What if no one likes my message? What if no one likes what I'm going to say? Right, we've all done that at one time. And I say, when you get older, you don't care. Right? You don't give a hoot as much because you get it that your message matters and that someone out there needs to hear it and you're going to save their life or their business or their soul. And it's your duty to get it out there. So you can be goofy, right? You can be as goofy as you want. Doesn't mean you're unprofessional. There's a fine line there, ladies and gentlemen. As a speaker, you're always professional, but can you be yourself? Absolutely. Absolutely. Within the structure of a speech. You still want to do your opening. You still want to share your story. Still want to say thank yous, but if you bring in a goofy proper too, so what? Be yourself, but don't make it about yourself, right? Be yourself, but don't make it about yourself. And that too, I hear a lot, right? Somebody thinks that once you tell your professional story, you're done really about yourself. You can weave in little things, stories or points, right? But they have to make a point. It isn't just being about you. So if you can bring in a client story instead of your own, great. If you can't, then use your own. All right, the S. The S is for self-talk, right? And I was with Angelique today, and she was showing me a video about self-sabotage, and I thought, self-sabotage, should I make it about self-talk? Should I make it about self-sabotage? It's about both, because self-talk can sabotage your speech. That's that little voice that sits on your shoulder, and I'm telling you, we all have it, and we will have it no matter how old we get. When we get older, we can take off the mask and be more authentic because we don't care. We don't have that much riding on our popularity.
Right. Yeah.
Like we did, right? When we were in high school, everything was riding on whether or not you're popular. And even in college, right? What people thought of you mattered. But now it matters less the older you get because it matters more about the message that you have to give.
Yes.
Okay, so Ruben's coming in. All right, thank you. Millions. Yeah, anytime you hear $1 million idea, go ahead and say millions. You're probably wondering, new people in the community, where do people get this? Well, it comes from my $1 Million Speaker Summit, which is in September, right? But anybody that wants one, just email me and I will ship you one, unless you're out of country, and then I won't. If you're in Canada, forget about it. It will cost you much money. Make your own. I'll send you the PDF. Okay. All right. So self-talk, self-sabotage. We can tell ourselves things as a speaker, like who's going to listen to our message, who's going to want to hear what we have to say. I've heard so many messages, so many stories from people. You have no idea, good, bad, and indifferent. And of course, I help people guide them to this is, you can say this, but I might keep this to yourself for now, right? That kind of thing. So self-sabotage is, we could self-sabotage with our self-talk, not only for our speeches, but anything in life. So we have to train that little animal that's on our shoulders, or the little devil, or whatever it is for you, how to self-talk properly.
The little monkey, the self-monkey, the monkey on your shoulder.
The monkey
on your shoulder.
The monkey, the drunk monkey.
Right. Because there's only one ventriloquist in the group, and it isn't me, and it isn't you. It's Benita, right? She's the one that can have that conversation with herself and another little being. But otherwise, that being isn't our friend. So you have to turn him into your friend and tell him what to say. Instead, just change your thoughts and change your language. And what I do is change it out loud, because believe me, when that little monkey gets me is in the middle of the night, right? Starts questioning me, starts saying, you didn't, and it goes back years, right? Years. It's like, come on, I have to tell it. I never have to think that again. You can put it in the file drawer and lock the key, because it doesn't serve me anymore. And I have to change it to whatever it is I do want to think about or talk about. So I'll just start saying, well, what's my next speech? Who's going to be on my next podcast? Things that excite me. So self-talk, get rid of it, change it, retrain it, whatever you have to do. And remember what I shared in the one day. When you step out on that stage, you need to come up with your own mantra. My mantra is, I'm the best. I'm the best. And I don't say that out of ego. I say it out of, that's what my audience deserves, is the best in me, the best speech, the most well-rested, the most, on top of my game. And that's what they deserve from you. So this speaking thing, I take, as you do, very, very seriously. It is a career. It is a lifestyle. It is a way to change lives. It's a way to become a doctor. It's a way to become a therapist, whatever it is. It's all in one when you speak. And you've got to take it seriously and be on your game every single time you open your mouth, whether it's a podcast and an interview, or whether it is a full-blown, I was going to say speech, and then it went to presentation. Speechentation, a presentation. So that's the S. So again, change your self-talk by giving yourself your own fabulous, positive, moving mantra. The K is for knowledge. The K is for knowledge. If you just came in the room, hi, Ruben, good to see you. Okay, well, you're zooming in from somewhere in the mountains. You're on a mountaintop. I love it. We're spelling out mask off, if you just joined us. Hi, Kimmy, good to see you too. All right, so knowledge. Now, when we speak about what we know the best, we can take off some of these masks, right? Now, remember, some people have multiple masks on. Some speakers have layers of masks. And you know the ones, I don't have to mention the names, but they're the ones that either you love them or you hate them. Either you feel slimed by them or loved by them, right? Right? But they're like, you're not sure. They're not the ones that you just naturally love. So those are the kind that typically have layers, and it's from years of putting on layers and layers. And they've learned it. They've learned it. And a lot of them are the older speakers, right? I'm not putting them down. I'm just giving you so you can recognize your own mask. Got it? And one way you can recognize that is seeing some of the masks of others. So knowledge, if you're those other speakers, they have the knowledge, but they've also been trained to wear many, many masks. Since you're just starting, some of you, you're in a place where you don't even have to put a mask on because now you know better. But you do want to share your knowledge and the best knowledge you have, not the old stuff, but the newest, the latest, and greatest knowledge. I want you to think about being on your soapbox, trying to change the world with every single word instead of just doing it as a matter of fact or like a teacher. And we've got teachers here, right? Dr. Marianne, who's been in teaching for years and years, have many teaching credentials, and now she's been in my mastermind, still working with me on what? On taking that teaching and funneling it into a persuasive presentation that will get what? Clients, make money for a not-for-profit, and change lives for a living. That's why she's here. So sometimes we have to unlearn something that we've learned in the past and replace it with something new that's of more value to us now. All right? And that takes time, that takes coaching, that takes investment in yourself, just like you're doing it. That's why you're all here. So good job for being here. Knowledge. Make sure you bring the latest and greatest to the table. Now we're going to spell the word off, right? And really take that mask off. And then I'm going to open it up to all of you. So the O, now I looked and thought of the O for a long time. This isn't a speech I do, right? When we come to these classes, these are new classes just for you. And my promise to all of you always has been, I come up with a new topic every single week, right, CJ? CJ's been with me forever. Jean's been with me. Second Jean's been with me. Hey, Margaret, I didn't see you down there. Welcome. Hi, welcome. So many of you have been with me for a long time and know, look at the titles that are in the passionatelyspeaking.com site, which is back up now. If some of you went there and it was down. It was down a couple of weeks ago, but it's back up. Now, the information might be reiterated because I teach what I teach, right? But I also come up with new topics and new ways to teach it. And so should you. So the O, I'm thinking, what could I have? The O, let me see, opportunity. I don't know. So I came up with this, observer. You want to take that mask off. This is where I want you to observe other speakers, some with a mask, which we just talked about, and those without. And just observe how you feel. Observe what they say. And one of the ways that we can observe that is how honest are they being? How connected are you being? And this virtual environment, if you want to be connected, you've got to even be more vulnerable. You've got to be more authentic. You've got to take the masks off. We don't want you to put anything in between you and your audience. And sometimes those fancy little filters and all those things, frames and putting yourself in a TV will further distance you from your audience. So be very careful of those things. We want you've got to be like you're reaching through that camera. You're going through that computer into the other side, into their room, into their living room, into their mind, into their heart, into their soul. And it takes practice to do that. So it takes training, which you're here getting the training, but observe other speakers. Make it your mission to go to events that they're having speakers. And I predict that you're going to become a speaking snob because you're going to see what they're doing wrong. And I want you to do that because then it'll go down at a deeper level because you'll know what to do right. So become an observer. The F is for fear. The masks go on because of fear. And in my book, what does it say about fear in my book, Angelique? Angelique's using this one. What does it say? False evidence. You're muted.
Fatal expectations altering reality.
Right. Fatal expectations. What you're expecting to go wrong, right? It's not you're expecting something good. You're expecting something to go wrong, something fatal. You're going to forget what you're going to say. You're going to look stupid, feel stupid, act stupid. No one's going to like you. No one's going to like what you're saying. The message won't matter. All of that goes, that's that little monkey on our shoulder saying all that baloney. And it is baloney. So fear. Fatal, what was it again? It's my own thing and I can't even remember.
Expectation.
Fatal expectations altering reality.
Okay, so altering the reality that you could be having, that's fear. You don't want it to alter. Get rid of the fear by getting more training, using my speaker system, following the instructions, and remembering to get your message out that somebody's life as it is at stake. So we have to get rid of the fear because this is fear, right? We're covering up the fear. We're only talking about what we're comfortable with, what we're safe with, a little bit at a time. We're not stretching. We're not being goofy. We're not telling people our hearts. So you don't have to do it all at once. I don't expect any of you to do it at once, but a little bit at a time. Take that mask off a little bit at a time. Maybe it just hangs down. You see people like this all the time. What in the world is this? Is this a fashion statement? I got new earrings. I got new earrings. What is this? So I can quickly go, whoop, right? No. So we got to get rid of the fear so we can get rid of the mask because otherwise we're masking our fear. The other F is for face. Face. Yes, the mask covers your face, right? The mask covers the face when we speak. And guess what happens when the mask covers the face? People cannot hear you. I don't know about you, but I never realized exactly how much I read lips until the lips are covered up. Anybody with me? I mean, that's just part of our natural hearing. And when the lips are covered up, I'm like saying, what? What? Right? Take off your mask. Let me see your mouth or something. Same if we're in a speech and our face is covered. People can't hear us. They won't be able to hear the message through our words because we have masked it in some way, maybe a small way, maybe a big way. So that's why it's so important when we're the speaker giving a speech that we must take our masks off. Amen?
Amen.
All right, great. All right, so that's our lesson today. Now, what I want us to do now, we're going to go around the room really quick in like about 10, 15 seconds. And I want you to share really honestly any mask that you think you might have had on when you speak, when you've given your self-introduction. I mean, what have you hidden? What have you hid behind when you speak? Right? And if you want to pass, that's okay. You're certainly welcome to pass. This isn't, a judgment call or any of that. It's just a way to share so that as a community, we can get together, right? Closer. So when two and more minds come together, it creates that third mind, which is called the mastermind. And that's what brings us closer together. So if you feel like sharing, if you don't, that's okay. Just say pass. All right, so we are going to call on the order you came in the room. Jean Reese is the very first one that came in the room today. You're muted. So either what mask are you going to take off or what mask have you been wearing?
Wow. You didn't read my lips say pass. Did you not see that? Okay, hi everybody. I'm pretty much, I have very few filters, and that's probably, I probably need to put a couple of masks on. That part. So I don't know. I've sort of been myself all this time, and that might be good or not. I'm not, I don't know. That's a hard one for me. That's a hard one for me. I've always been kind of like out of the box kind of person. Don't care if you like me or not. Usually people do like me, and if you don't, oh well, you miss out. And it's not because I'm thinking that this is just that I'm just me, and people usually say, hey, she's weird or something. I kind of like her. So I don't know how to say that.
So very good. And Jean is a beautiful soul. Her laugh will make you laugh for days, right?
If you're laughable.
One of the things that Jean doesn't share that's really very noble is that she's taking care of her mother and her husband, who is a past pastor. She's a caretaker, caregiver, and she's trying to juggle that and do her legal shield business and do some other things. And look at that smile on her face.
And I'm still going.
And she's still going, right? Okay. But sometimes share with people things that we're going through. And that's a hard thing for me to do as well. All right. So, okay, thank you. Let's go to Jackie.
I'm like Jean, I really don't know. I think I've done so much good self-talk over the years that I don't think that, that there's anything that I don't share, although I was very vulnerable writing this book. And so I shared a lot of things in this book that I didn't know I had to share. But I really felt like I had a lot of godly help on this book, a tremendous amount. And I tried in this book to give people hope. So in areas, as a matter of fact, my daughter who proofed the book said, Mom, I think of you as a really great person. Why are you putting yourself down here? And I said, I'm not really putting myself down. I just want to be relatable. I want people to understand that we all struggle. We take a step forward and we take some steps back, and that's normal. None of us are super God heroes.
Right. Amen. And you're right. You did. You took your mask off when you wrote the book, and you took your mask off when you did your book launch. So good job.
Thank you.
You really did. And again, allowed us to take ours off as well. All right, CJ, 10 seconds.
I'd like to answer it in two ways. So and both of these ways have come as a result of working with Arvee. So the first thing I want to say is, I feel like I no longer wear a mask, if I ever did, when I step up on stage. I feel like maybe that there was some trepidation or fear about what I was going to say or what I wasn't going to say. And what I've learned from working with Arvee is whatever I say is the thing I'm going to say in this moment that I say it. So it's just like a freedom to just step up there. I know my material. I know how to, engage with the audience, which is what it's all about. And then whatever actually happens is what's supposed to happen. So I believe that I don't have that mask anymore. I step up and just allow whatever to be to be. And then on a deeper level, we were talking a couple weeks ago about our message and our story and sharing some of the vulnerability of that part of our story. And it made me realize that, yeah, I've always been a geek. And maybe in the earlier years, in the school years, maybe I did try to suppress that. I don't know if I ever really did. But the thing that is true now is I'm absolutely embracing it. I literally wear it as a name underneath my name. It's my title now. I've self-appointed title. So there you go. No masks over here.
Love it. All right, Dr. Marianne.
I think it's interesting that as I'm changing my story to talk about entrepreneurs, what welled up in me was how my mom always said entrepreneurs were unemployed people. And, and the Holy Spirit revealed to me that was something buried. But now that I'm relating to so many of you guys that are entrepreneurs, and I'm relating to a lot of genius dyslexic people who are entrepreneurs, it had to come up. God brought it up. And when I share that, that my mom always thought entrepreneurs were failures, unemployed people, I can rise above that because I've been an entrepreneur for so long.
Well, is your mom still alive?
No. She passed away about 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, she's looking down, and I'll bet you she's helping you become that entrepreneur. She knows now. Wasn't Jesus the first entrepreneur? Really? He was the first storyteller, but wasn't he the first entrepreneur? All right, let's go to Cheryl.
Hi there. I'm very glad to be here, and I'm here on purpose because I'm a caretaker for my daughter who has autism, but she is doing so much better now that I'm re-engaging in the world again. But with autism, she didn't want to be around people, and I kind of became very introverted, and now I'm super shy. So I'm so glad you guys talk about my Heavenly Father so much because I'm soliciting prayers from everybody. Arvee, I'm going to be doing my first presentation for Eric's, and it's April 8th. So but be with me because I'm very nervous. And so I'm taking off the mask of playing small. I've really been playing very, very small. And it's uncomfortable now to stop playing small and trying to come out here. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity that you had this, because I don't do this and I have to start doing this, pushing myself out of my comfort zone.
Beautiful. Good job. All right, Cheryl. All right, Gloria. Remember 10 seconds really quickly so we can get you all out of here on time.
Well, I like so many others, I feel when I'm giving a presentation, when I'm talking about my stuff, that I am fine, that I don't wear the mask anymore. I've gotten used to it. Where I've realized though, where I have a mask on, a lot of times is it during like networking meetings. That's, to do my own presentation, or I mean, just my 30-second speech. That's what comes up. So that's what I have to work on.
Good, thank you. That's very honest. That's taking off the mask right there. Did y'all hear? Sometimes it's not a regular presentation, but that little 10-second, 30-second, that can get you to where you're just a robot maybe, and not really being as authentic as you could, which thank you for that. All right, Michelle.
I would have to say the imposter syndrome, not feeling like I'm good enough to be on stage, even though I'm the expert in what I'm talking about. So
now you know you are. So that's a mask. That's very honest. You just took off the first layer, all right, by sharing it with us. Very good. Let's give her a big hand for that. That's a big step in the right direction. Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. All right, Philip, you're up.
Hi. My mask that I had to deal with because I was part of Toastmasters, and then afraid of getting on stage and not saying it a certain way, not being authentic the way I'm used to being. But once I took off the mask and stopped being afraid and became myself, I did a presentation last week and they were like, "Whoa, we never saw the side of you, Phil." I was able to speak freely, powerfully. My mask was afraid to not say or be myself, or I had to be real perfect.
Right.
Yeah. So Arvee, I'll probably call you later on and tell you some other good things, but I had a great day today. 10 seconds is coming up, so I guess I'll tell you later on.
Yeah, I would love to hear. Go ahead and call me. But now that's a mask too. Is that mask of what? What was your mask? Fear?
Yeah, fear of just had to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes those kind of organizations, and I've of course been through that program, they want you to walk and talk a certain way, and yeah, and you just got to move past that. They're just there to help you and give you guidelines. So you moved past that and took off that mask. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right, Virginia, 10 seconds. Virginia, and then we're going to go to Lori and Beth and Angelique and Benita and Marcia.
Yeah.
Virginia.
Jean-Luc.
Okay, so
There's Jean-Luc.
I think the more I've been learning and practicing with Arvee, my layers of, I had to write some stuff down because I was thinking, okay, well, what is it that's been going on with me? And I think it's my layers of vulnerability, of fear of not being good enough. But I've noticed that the more that I practice, the layers have been shedding away, and little by little. And I just have to remember to breathe, pause, and talk.
Beautiful.
And sometimes I get too overly, I don't know what it is, overly excited or afraid or whatever it is, and I forget to breathe, and I start hyperventilating in between my words. So yeah.
Right. Well, again, you're not alone, right? Now, Virginia's a writer. She's not a speaker. You don't, they're two different things, right? So she's a good writer, and now we're getting her to be a good speaker, right? So just because you can write doesn't mean you can speak, and just because you can speak doesn't mean you're a writer, right? Good job. All right, Lori.
Yeah, I would think that mine's fear too. I have to be really passionate and knowledgeable about what I speak on, because I have like a fear of trying to memorize a talk, like it won't sound authentic. And so, or that I'll forget the words, or I'll lose my place, partly because of my age and forgetting things. So I was really excited when you had a process, because I think that would be very helpful to overcome the fear of, being able to execute like a speech in front of like a lot of people, or a retreat, or a one day, and that's kind of my direction. So
very cool. Yeah. What do I say what do I say about writing out your speech, everyone?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it, because then you're a slave to your word.
You're a slave to this, to the piece of paper.
Yeah. You're going to get stuck and run off the stage.
That's right. That's exactly what I did. That's in my book too. Awesome. Great, Lori. Thank you. All right, Beth.
I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what Gloria said, is that I get really aggravated when I notice somebody wearing a mask and they're not authentic. And a lot of times it's networking, and they're just doing the automatic, and I find it very aggravating, but I didn't have a reason why, and now I have the reason why. So I'm going to flip that and say that I need to be part of helping others take their mask off, so that we keep energy in presentations.
Well, that's all great, but what is your mask? Because
I just get aggravated and shut down, I guess, and think I put work in and you didn't. So I guess there's whenever there's anger, there's usually a fear behind it. So I wonder what that could be.
Yeah, maybe you're putting on a mask because you don't like what somebody else is doing because they have a mask on. That's
right. I'm going to look at that and see when it pops up now, and see how I play in that game.
Yeah, and again, maybe that's part of the observation too, that you're observing somebody has a mask on, their automatic, so you don't want to, and so you could say, well, maybe I am, maybe that, so yeah, take a look at that and let us know.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great observation right there. All right, Angelique.
So very similar to Philip, my mask was the need to be perfect on the stage everywhere. So I would end up looking like this, and this somehow was perfect. Not sure how, because me is so much more fun, on the stage. So I, obviously with Arvee's help, with your help, Arvee, I've become my true authentic self. I feel like I've ripped the mask off within the last couple months, and I'm just excited.
Great.
Thank you, Arvee.
Thank you. All right, Benita.
Mine is when I'm indecisive and then I put off taking action, trying to make sure it's the right decision, and then I don't get the feedback and that I would get if I just move faster on a topic or something.
So your mask is not moving fast enough?
Indecision.
Indecision. Okay, good. All right, that's good. That could move you forward. That could move the needle for you, just knowing that. All right, Marcia.
Okay, so even though I am a successful businesswoman, entrepreneur, and all of that, my mask is a lack of confidence in my message.
Okay. Well, you're in the right place. We'll get you more confident. All right, so Lisa, you're up.
Well, my mask is that I have a fear that no matter how much I practice, even if I practice the 2 minutes,
1 hour,
1 hour for every 2 minutes of speech, I'll still go right on stage and go, like I forgot everything. So my mask is fear of forgetting, my mind going blank, even with practice.
Right.
So what that tells me is that you haven't yet practiced 1 hour for every 2 minutes, because if you had for a 30-minute talk, 15 hours, you wouldn't think that anymore. It'd be gone, right? Every week and all that, it'd be gone. So that tells me you haven't really tried it. So try it. The mask will fly off. You'll go, huh, and blah, 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 blah. You're becoming the script. We've talked about this before. You practice so much and you out loud and hear it that you just become it. You're a part of it. It's like your arm or your leg. You can't separate it. It is in you, with you, part of you. Ladies and gentlemen, when you do this, you'll get it, and then you'll just have it forever, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll love it. It's that feeling of joy, freedom. Somebody said freedom here. About freedom. It's that joy and freedom, being in the zone. It's being on top of the mountain, right? Just by practicing. Okay, thank you, Lisa, for being so honest. All right, Alice.
My mask is I don't talk about the financial difficulties I've experienced, which led me into doing foreclosure prevention right now to help families from being thrown out of homes. I've been evicted and I sent my 10-year-old son to a friend so he won't have that experience of a marshal throwing us out in his DNA. So my mask is keeping my personal financial difficulties and, connecting it to what I do right now.
Okay, so I would encourage you to do that. And again, through your professional story, because people love rags to riches stories. They love that. I mean, if you look at Tony Robbins' story, when he was growing up, his mom would send him to the store to get bread. I mean, they were really poor back then. And it's a fascinating story. And then by the time he was 19, he lived in a little apartment and he had dishes in his sink. And, I mean, he just tells the story over and over again about how he was, poor and a slob and blah, 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 and not manifesting anything. And then, he had a breakthrough and boom, right? So I would encourage you to share that because it did get you where you are today. And you're not that person anymore. And guess what? We've all been there. We all been broke. I remember, my broke years. I used to borrow money from my brother to get gasoline, it's like just to go to work. So we've all been there. We can all relate. Well, maybe not all of us have been there, but a lot of people have been there. I can't speak for all, but I would encourage you to share that, and I'll certainly help you connect the dots.
Yeah, but can I say something real quick? Thank you, Alice, for saying that. It's very real, and it takes a lot of courage to say something like that. A lot of people fake it, and they wear that mask where they they won't share that one thing that's really going to make an impact in someone else's life and where you're going to make a heart-to-heart connection with the audience.
Thank you. I'd love us to all be able to comment, but we just don't have time.
No, I know.
Let's go to Dr. Renee.
Oh, hi, Arvee.
Hi.
Great. Hi, sweetie. Oh, great to see all the new people on the program today, and congratulations again, Jackie, on a successful book launch. Great job today, Arvee. I'll make it quick. Yes, I hid behind a mask when I first met you, Arvee. I think it was 2003 or 2004. I think I was one of your first clients. I had glasses. Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember. I hid behind my glasses, and I was a nerd. I was such a nerd. And I've done that all through school with these big glasses, and I would hide in the library. And I had to get over that. So between personal development, at first you, Arvee, then, you know, things I've done, landmark and things like that, and personal development on myself, I learned to, you know, get a little bit out there. You know, so now I'm out there speaking all over, speaking all over. Yeah. So thank you, Arvee, so much. You're like my angel on my shoulder. I always tell you that. Always hear your voice, especially when I'm going to step on that stage.
Good. Well, as long as I'm not the monkey on your shoulder.
No monkey. No, what is this chick called? The tequila monkey? I think that's what it was called. No tequila monkeys. Just Arvee Robinson on my shoulder.
Excellent. Good.
Oh, and God is in my other shoulder.
Good. Ooh, I'm right up there.
Yeah.
Awesome. All
Yep.
right. Jason.
You got Goosey's big points.
All right, Jason, Christopher.
I wanted to share, I think it's a lot of what everyone else has shared, and that is the mask that hides me from being nakedly authentic. So I condensed it down to that, to being 2 questions. Is this a presentation or a conversation? And am I knowing the script versus being the script?
Ooh, very good. Let's give him a big hand. Excellent. Good job, Jason. Good job. Woo! Sit with that one for a minute. Good job. All right, Joyce.
Hi, everybody.
Aloha.
Hello. I would have to say that I'm a simplicity coach, and my mask, I believe, is aligning with my perfectionistic saboteur of feeling like I have to have everything figured out and have already arrived in every area, versus I'm still in that place of simplifying and on the same journey on what I'm coaching on. So I just, that vulnerability of letting it go, like I'm not perfect, I still struggle in some of these areas that I'm coaching on, and being more open that it's okay not to be perfect in something that I'm coaching on. That's my mask.
Nice. Well, you're not alone. There's 2 other people that said the same thing. So very cool. All right, let's go to Margaret.
Hi, yes, I used to work with a trainer who used to say, Margaret, when are you going to show up? So that's been my mask of, you know, playing small, playing it safe. And that's the one I'm wanting to get away from.
Very cool. Playing it safe. I love that. That's another way of putting it. Playing small, playing it safe. Very good. Thank you, Margaret. All right, Jean from Iowa.
I can relate to that, Margaret. Thank you. And also I can relate to Gloria about the networking meetings. That I just hate that part, you know, with the elevator speech for some reason. I think it's because I change a lot about the focus that I'm doing. And but this is just such a weird thing. I've been sitting here thinking and feeling things about this, but when I'm on stage, I feel more natural than anywhere. and I feel more myself. But when I'm home and have been in, you know, the pandemic and more, I become more and more introverted, and ooh, I'm getting choked up. And that's just not been the most positive thing.
Well, that's wonderful to share that. That's wonderful. So when you step on stage, you can take off the mask, and when you stay inside, you just kind of start gathering the mask.
Yeah, that is just weird. I haven't figured it out yet. I'll try to wrap my head around that, but
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure there's someone else that feels the same. All right, Jackie. Yeah, this has been hard on all of us. Excellent. All right, Ruben, you're up.
Yeah, sometimes I wear the mask of perfectionist, like a lot of people. So, but last Saturday I gave a webinar, and I felt great afterwards because I wasn't too scripted. I was more relaxed, more in the zone. So it's paying off the lessons that I'm taking here and some of the advice. So that's something that I'm working on, not to be too perfect. I mean,
beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, all of you perfectionists, right? It's okay to be goofy. I had someone, Corey, you're coming up, so don't go away. I had someone that that said, wanted to give me feedback for my event. And what they said to me was, of course, in my mind, I'm like thinking, well, how many events have you put on? Right? Right? I did. I have to be honest. I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's so. What is it? And all she said to me, and I really appreciate it, was it was beat into her English class that you don't say very unique. What something is unique, or that's it, right? Unique. And I said very unique 3 times. Right? So my perfectionism comes up. I know my perfectionism comes up at first too, and goes, right? And then I thought, oh, well, you know, so, you know, I'm glad she told me, because I will never say very unique anymore, much less 3 times, because I appreciate that. But we don't know what we don't know, and we can't let that stuff stop us, because the message is what's important. Now, did she not hear the message? No, she heard the message. She just heard a little static along the way. And just think of it that way. If someone's going to give us feedback, it's just a little static. Our message is what's important, right? Okay, good. So I'm with you, all of you perfectionists. All right, let's go to Clemmy.
That is like the perfect segue. So I was going to do, you know, Letterman top 10 on how to get over being a perfectionist. So I start with getting a brain injury, and I realize I don't need the rest of the list. Instantly done with. Like it's not even it's like I'm so done with that, right? It's never going to happen, so why worry about it? So for me, you know, it's an interesting question that you asked this, because I as a little kid, because I didn't have language for inner knowing, I called it my Superman X-ray vision, because I'm like, I perceive the soul of the person, and I don't really care about the package. And so I'm always like peeling masks off and just going, okay, what is all that noise? Like, just like, you know, and that's how I decide who I want to hang out with or not. But what's interesting is, in terms of this question, so when I'm presenting, I focus on useful tools. 1, because that's helpful to people, but 2, because I'm still vulnerable. I'm still healing myself. My story, you know, some people, it's like picking a scab. The story is so dramatic that it becomes about the story and not about the message. And I don't want to derail into a babbling mess. The other thing is, not being a perfectionist, but people are sometimes impatient, and they want you to get to the bottom line. And so, and I know I ramble. I feel like I'm a fly trying to land, right? And so, you know, it's just the nature of brain injury. And so, so then the other thing is, right now I'm working on, when I've been talking about my message and my kind of big change the world vision, people like are right on it and they're loving it. But the other thing is like, if your mess is your message, I'm sorry, but people will be afraid I have to have the Zoom background on. Like, it's too chaotic. Like, you know, it's like if you emptied your brain out in your apartment, scary. And so the other part is the offer. I'm still trying to clarify the offer. So therefore it's hard to articulate it. So I'm still working on that. So I'm basically trying to come up with the external scaffolding to navigate, because I lost the internal skeleton structure.
Woo, that's heavy, girl. That's heavy. Okay, well, just keep coming back and you'll get that piece by piece.
Thank you.
For you. Good job. Good job. I don't know if you were funny before, but you're sure funny now. All right, let's go to Corey. Let's end up with, and Lisa, did you go yet? Because you keep moving. Did Lisa go yet? No, I don't think so. Lisa, did you go yet? No. Okay, let's go to Corey and then go.
Yes, I went already.
Okay, because if you turn off, remember what I taught you in class, right? If you turn off your video, you end up at the bottom. So what you do is you take a little rag or something and just cover your camera, and then you won't lose position, right? You won't lose position. Okay, let's go to Corey.
All right. Yeah, that's why I'm last, because I think I was the fourth one in the.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sorry about that.
I had a client who came in, so it's no problem.
Oh, okay.
No, I had fantastic mentors and trainers, so I feel like I've gotten to about the raw story I'm going to get to. And I've presented that on stage. I think where I probably have a mask is getting onto stages, right? To feel like, you know, am I worthy to get on people's stages, even though I have great information and great content and have done hundreds of presentations. So anyway, but getting out there more is really what I'm after.
Okay. Getting on there more. Maybe you have a little mask about picking up the phone and calling those speaking engagements. They're going to reject us, right? When we call, they're going to say, no, who are you? You know, so that's a mask that, you know, we might have to all take off on occasion to get those speaking engagements. All right. So good job. All right. Everyone's gone. Yes. All right. I know we lost a few people. They said they had to go. Real quick, before we go, I want Jackie to put a link into her book. She's got a 99-cent special for Kindle. And then I want Angelique has a webinar coming up. So go ahead and put in the link for the webinar. All right. Those two things. Does anybody else have a webinar coming up that they're doing themselves? I thought I heard. All right, Marianne, put yours in there.
Okay. Mine's coming up in April on 23rd.
Oh, that's too far away. Don't put that in now. We'll do it next time. All right. I just mean within the next week. Okay, great. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you all back next week. Thank you for hanging out and just building community and listening to each other. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to pick up that phone, that 100-pound gorilla, start making those calls, getting those speaking engagements. There's more speaking engagements out there and available now than ever before. I've already done over 50 speaking. Last week I did 7.
Wow.
I know, because once you get out there, people see you out there, then they want you, and on and on and on. So pick up that phone, make those speaking engagement calls, and remember when you do speak to always
speak with passion.
Yay.
Speak with passion.
Bye, see you next week.
Right.
Bye.
Right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Good luck, Jean Reese, with your book launch.
Thank you. That's what I asked Arvee if she could hit on with that, but it didn't happen. So I didn't want to be a takeover spirit here.
What did you ask me?
Oh, it's in the chat box. My mask was on. No, I really wanted to invite some people like Angelique and Bonita and Joyce and my other Jean to join in.
Time out. To what?
To my book launch.
Oh, your book launch. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Jackie's book launch.
No, I'm the reason that I wrote a book was because of Jackie, and now I have no support. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But at least I'd like to.
When is your book launch, Jean?
It's going to be Sunday at 2.
Okay, then put it in the Facebook group. Okay. Put it in the Facebook group. That's where we all are putting in stuff. I'm sorry, I don't usually invite people to put in stuff in the chat, but
That's right. So that's why I chatted with you off the grid. The thing is,
I can't see the chats when I'm doing.
Oh.
I can't manage that and what I'm doing. Come on. girl, you know that.
I thought you could do everything.
You gotta tell me ahead of time before the class starts. You know, I'll serve you whatever you need. But
Raise your hand if you can make it on Sunday at 2. Raise your hand.
Where is it?
It's on Zoom. What?
Oh,
at
yeah.
my house, just come on by. No, it's on Zoom, and it's going to be at 2 p.m. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a party.
What time zone? What time zone?
The one that we're in right now on the West Coast, the PT.
Pacific.
Is the link in the chat?
We're not all on.
Yeah, I need the link in the.
Okay, this is exactly why I don't do this.
That's why I asked you to that's why I chatted. Okay, so if you want to go, if you can go, raise your hand. And then those ones are okay. Then I need to get your email addresses. That's it.
Wait, just put it in the chat and they can sign up. Do you have a link?
You know what? I got why don't I put my
Don't you have a link to sign up? Like,
are you kidding?
Like a Zoom link where they sign up and register?
No, it's not going to be mine yet. It's going to be tomorrow when I send out stuff to people.
Oh.
There it is right there, everyone. Jeannie.reese777@gmail.com. Just send your.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. Did you hit enter?
Oh, because I'm still talking to Arvee who ignored me.
Would you stop it? You.
And you put it in the passionately speaking.
Yeah, to everyone. Well, see, that's why I didn't want to say anything, but you know, I don't.
No, I thought you were talking about that because I was talking about Jackie's book launch. And when you said book launch, I thought you were talking about hers. And I knew later I was going to invite
It is to everyone.
Okay.
God's number 777. Completion.
Okay, everyone. We're just going to put all this kind of marketing stuff in the chat. Okay?
All right.
No, in the Facebook group. So
yes,
please use the Facebook group, or we create this kind of
happening,
and I don't.
Right. How many go there though?
Well, if we all start going there, more will go there.
I went.
Agreed.
I did go there.
Do I just go under your name, Arvee, for the Facebook group?
It's Passionately Speaking, Joyce. Just go Passionately Speaking, and I will approve you, and you're all set. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I tried that last week and it didn't.
Are we allowed to post like videos and things in it? I've never been clear in the guidelines.
Of course, in the Facebook, in the Passionately Speaking, if it's your speaking, absolutely. If you advertise, what I don't want you to do is advertise somebody else's event.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been clear because it's mostly you posting. So, okay.
Or if it's your event, post away. If yours, post away. But this
I didn't know.
About you, not somebody else who's not part of the group or the community. Does that make sense? Is that clear? You know, I don't want someone posting, oh, Grant Cardone. Who cares? You know what I mean?
That's funny.
Oh, you and your community, we want to support each other. So that's why, you know, we want to create.
Okay.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you. Bye.
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 I'll be there, Jean.
I'll be there too, Jean.
Thank you. Yay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm not sure Yeah, I'd like the information. I think I have something else I need, but we'll see.
Jean Box, do you want to stay on a minute?
Yeah, my my window froze.
Oh, well, you're not frozen. You look fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't move my Safari window off of the window of the Zoom. So
Okay, kids, hang on.
just hang in here.
Waiting for me to take them for their walk now. But I just wanted to say hello. I still need to get with you to order some more Melaleuca.
Oh, I thought we did that.
No, remember I told you I had a housekeeper that was using pine salt?
Yeah.
I don't think I bought any cleaning. I bought disinfect. Is that same as all the cleaning stuff?
No.
I didn't think so. So we need to do that as well.
Okay. I was thinking that we did.
I did, yeah, we did a lot. I got a lot of stuff, but I don't think cleaner that took place. I got disinfectant, but I don't think and I got hand soap, but I don't think I got do the floor soap.
Oh, okay. Oh, they have a really cool floor sweeper system. Like, you know, you squirt it out and then you mop it up, and yeah, there's a really cool thing. We'll get on a Zoom and I'll show you on the website.
Sounds good.
So when would you like to do that?
I don't know. Let's text each other. I'm a little pooped right now and I got to take them out and I got to pee.
Okay. All right. All right. Just text me.
All right. So yeah, we'll do it sometime tomorrow probably, or the next day, probably Thursday or Friday.
Thursday I'm at work.
Friday. Let's do sometime on Friday. I have.
Yeah, text me.
Okay, I'll text you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.